The statistics are kind of staggering about the amount of infertility that we have here in America. And Debbie and I were talking about this, and Debbie just recently shared an article with me, and we want to kind of dive into this a little bit. And I'm going to ask Debbie to share her story about infertility with everybody. But before we keep going, I want to introduce ourselves. My name is Wendy.
And I'm Debbie.
And we are of Nourish Coaches, and we're so glad to have you here on the podcast and YouTube today. So, Debbie, I know that part of your entire health journey hinges on this idea that you and Doug struggled conceiving the first time. Tell
Yeah.
us the story.
Yeah. So when we decided to try to get pregnant, I think I was about 28 years old. So I was young. I was young
Mhm.
and healthy. I was very healthy. Doug was very healthy. And we said, all right, let's go. Let's stop birth control and get going. And we were a little bit patient at first, waiting a few months. We knew it wasn't necessarily going to happen right away. But 3 months went by, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and we started getting worried because what's going on? And then I was told by the doctors that we went to see, oh, you can't do anything until you're a year of infertility because I guess that's their rule, which was upsetting. But we were like, okay, so maybe we just have to relax. And then a year came by and nothing happened. So they did a bunch of tests, nothing. All good. Everybody's good. Sperm count's good, healthy, numbers all perfect. And we got slapped with the unexplained infertility label, which I'm sure many people have heard that before, if not for themselves, but for friends or family.
Right.
Um, and so 2 years, it took 2 years. We did try to do some fertility stuff, but it just didn't feel right to us. And so when I think 2 rounds of artificial insemination just didn't feel right, we were like, you know what? If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And thank goodness it did happen naturally. But why? Why 2 years at 28 years old
Yeah.
could we not get pregnant? And it's still unknown, but
Right. And this mystery is for so many, it could be a myriad of reasons. But today on this podcast, we wanted to talk about something that is really disturbing and prolific. And we've got a couple of links that we're going to put in the show notes, but we wanted to talk about plastics and these microplastics that are getting into, like, we're walking around with like we're part microplastics now because it's getting into the breast milk, it's getting into our blood, it's getting into our skin, it's in the placenta, it's just we're testing, and it's in so much, and there's a lot of tests on animals, and infertility and sexual disfiguration and smallness and male versus female, and it's a little bit it's not a little bit, it's a big part disconcerting.
yeah,
And Debbie and I are not what would you call it, what do we
doomsday people are not.
right. We're not super negative people. We're really look bright side people. And so
Right.
instead of going down doomsday, we just wanted to bring it to our attention, become aware, because that is the way of change, right? Is just to draw more attention to what are our practices that we are incorporating into our everyday lives, and how can we notice it a little bit more and take care of Mother Nature and Earth and each other at the same time.
That's right. Yeah. So we are adding the link of the article that we read to our show notes. We really encourage you to read that. And it's not, it is a little bit of a doomsday article in a sense, but there's a lot of really great points to wake us up. And it's something we can't deny, that there are microplastics out there, and we're not just talking about little pieces of plastic that you can see on the ground, although there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
It's stuff that's microscopic, that's entering into our bloodstreams, into our whole bodies. And it's from plastic that's been breaking down for the last 70, 80 years. When plastic was first introduced, it was like this wonder thing. And it is a wonder
It
thing. I
still
mean,
is wonderful.
it's wonderful in so many ways. We need it. We need it for so many reasons. And I remember, I think there's a show on Netflix that talks about that. One of those shows that talks about things we want to know about. And it's not, we don't want to demonize plastic,
Right.
but we do want to give you the ideas about the plastics that we use every day that may not be necessary, number one, because they're alternatives. And what can we do to help, maybe if it's not us, it's our kids or our grandkids or our great grandkids, the future. We really need to clean up the mess that's been made. And so we're hearing all of this about global warming, everything else, and we're all doing probably a little part. So this is another piece of that. And let's three simple things we can do.
Super simple things. And the first one is just recognize where we are using single plastic pieces, single
Yep,
source
single
plastic.
use. Yep, single use plastic.
And I have plastic forks and knives and spoons in the office, and I keep using them. I rewash them, but I'm using them, and I need to stop using them, and I need to use either wood, bamboo, or just bring some bring some real silverware into the office and use that and clean it. It's such a simple idea. So
Right.
um,
Single use, like plastic bottles, instead of going buying a case of water bottles, get the reusable water bottles that you can use. There's so much single use plastic in our everyday life, and you can't avoid all of it. I just want to say that, because if we have to live, and I don't want you to feel bad about it, but what I do, because every day I have some kind of single use plastic, whether it's my food wrapped in it, my vegetables put in it, whatever it is.
yep.
I keep a big bag in my pantry that everything plastic, after I take it off my food or whatever it is, it goes in that bag. I bring the bag to the supermarket and put it in that bin. And I'm hoping that it does get recycled the way they say that it does. So that's my part, and that's easy for everybody to do.
Right. Maybe there's this collective, right? And even if it's half of what's going to the recycling, something is happening to it that might not get into our waterway. So it's being aware of single-use plastics, recycling what plastics you do use. And then the third one we wanted to share, and Debbie and I both do this, is picking up plastic in your community, in your town, in your workspace, and actually putting it in the garbage so it doesn't get into our waterways. And this is yet again another little thing, but can make a super impact on our ecosystem and our waterways.
And it can give you a little bit of a warm fuzzy feeling too. It's like I always bring a little trash bag with me. It started out when I was walking my dog. I had the bags for my dog's, poo, and I would use that. But now I started to bring a bigger bag, and just on my walk. Unfortunately, and I have a very pristine neighborhood, I would say, but there's still plastic on the ground, little pieces of plastic everywhere.
Yeah.
So I do my part and pick it up when I see it.
Yeah, so we welcome your feedback. If you've got ideas of places, oh, there's one more place that plastic is that we probably don't think about, and it's in our paper coffee cups. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually lined with plastic, so it doesn't leach through. Many of them, not all of them, but most of them. So whenever you can, if you're going for coffee, grab your own reusable coffee mug. There's
Right.
another one.
And if you don't bring your own reusable one, you don't have to put that plastic top on the coffee. You really don't have to.
Right, right.
So,
Exactly. So many ideas. But anyway, it's just some food for thought. And, hormones are a really big deal. And so we want to do everything we can to protect our hormones from disruption. And
yes, right.
plastic is one thing that we can do a little bit more for ourselves and Mother Nature.
Right. And not just fertility hormones. We're talking hormones throughout our whole life, you know.
And
So,
hormones are a cascade for everything in our attitude and our anxiety and our depression and our energy and our
and our weight
thinking.
and our energy, yeah, everything.
Everything's connected.
Everything's connected. So check out our links. Make sure if you're interested and you want to, we would love for you to share our episode, share our links, get the word out. It's so important. This network of putting that drop of water in and seeing the ripples go. That's important.
That's
So,
right. And if you are interested and you want to chat with us about hormones and effects of eating and plastics and everything else, and you're interested in connecting with us, we do have a free 30-minute call that you can have with us to get a little bit more information and just to dive into get to know us and we know you. So you are welcome to that as well.
yeah.
Thanks.